are the most important races on the racing calendar. These are the races where we watch earlier judgments crystallise or disintegrate. In 1986-87, the first place to look for some classic insight is Sydney in August. Ian, let's have your thoughts about the three-year-olds.
Well, in 1985, the Sydney Classic season began in sensational fashion with the runaway victory of the great colt Handy Proverb in the Group 2 Peter Pan Stakes. 12 months later, the atmosphere was almost identical as Sydney race crowds warmed to a big New Zealand colt named Drought, owned and trained in similar interests to the 1985 Melbourne Cup winner What a Nuisance. Despite a defeat on wet ground at Randwick at his Sydney debut, Drought was heavily supported to win the Peter Pan. But when the short-priced favourite Imperial Baron was withdrawn at the barrier, Drought became a pronounced 7-4 favourite.
Get into the clear in the straight. Royal Real is ducked through in the middle to join these leaders. Gallery Level joining in. Billy Asset running a bit of a race at the 200 though, and Gallery Level put his head in front of Royal Real. Billy Asset, the Barossa and Hader Prince running on strongly. Little Gallery Level got clear with 100 to go though. In second place, Billy Asset. Drought bursting through in the middle. He's coming home far the better. Drought finished brilliantly.
Every turf journalist and commentator agreed that Drought was extraordinarily impressive. So too did media magnate, giant punter and successful racehorse owner Kerry Packer, who paid $500,000 for a half share in Drought before the colt's next start, the $75,000 Group 2 Gloaming Stakes.
Further back, Hader Prince, followed by Adatari, and then Drought and Tristram as last as they turn for home. By golly, Drought's giving them a start. At the top of the straight now, Dandy Andy led from Billy Asset, Bowl C. Drought's hooked out into the clear by Marshall. He's starting to wind up. He's still about 5 lengths off the lead. He'll have to be pretty good to win. Coming to the 200, Bowl C quickly shot past Dandy Andy. He's running about Bowl C. Drought's after him now, and look at this big long stride at Drought as he races up to Bowl C. Drought hit the front. Oh, he's a great colt, and Drought is storming away to win the Gloaming Stakes by nearly 2 lengths on the line to Bowl C.
As you saw, the Gloaming win was even more impressive than the Peter Pan, and consequently, Drought was installed at odds-on favourite to complete the Spring Triple Crown 3 weeks later.
Over on the Group 1 circuit for specialist sprinters is the Marlborough Cup, a race which this year was worth $150,000. Last start Flemington winners, Canny Lass and Taj Quillo, were the 2 popular picks with punters.
Lights on, racing at the first attempt, and got them away beautifully too. Taj Quillo and Lord Galaxy the first to get going. They were disputing the lead, settling down. Bataan is up there, and Testimony is going round the outside also to join a line of about 6 horses with Avon's Lord. Miner's Man is next, and they were followed by Taj Quillo easing back on the inside of those horses now. True Style next 2 to Canny Lass, a length to Tone Phil, followed by Between Ourselves. Then Old Acquaintance, and back behind those horses then Seek a Fortune. 2 lengths further back, Avanotto, Luther's Luck, and back to the rear Aiming and Rebecca Gay back there also with French Cotton and River Crossing. Down by the 800 they race a great battle. Avon's Lord on the inside is just the leader now from Miner's Man and Bataan. There followed a length to Testimony and Lord Galaxy. Taj Quillo is under the whip next. They were followed by Old Acquaintance, and Canny Lasses looking for a split in the centre of them, and they were followed closely by Between Ourselves, badly needing a run at this stage. Old Acquaintance losing ground. On the corner, Avon's Lord the leader with Bataan joining it from Miner's Man. Then Taj Quillo and Canny Lass looking for a run from Lord Galaxy. Testimony the outside. At the 300, about 5 in line. Canny Lass winding her way through as tackling Miner's Man and Bataan. Canny Lass dashed to the lead. Luther's Luck and Rebecca Gay running on, and Taj Quillo getting a split. But Canny Lass has taken the lead, and the Bonnie Mare's racing away to a big win. Canny Lass 3 lengths to Taj Quillo.
As we saw earlier,
the early weight for age races in Melbourne provide some reliable clues as to the validity of the claims to Cup favouritism. The 1986 Group 1 Underwood Stakes, decided over almost 2,000 metres at weight for age at Caulfield on September 25, told us one thing for certain: the Big Red was back.
Past the 800, Feeder Away joined by Glen Morriston. Bone Crusher sitting only a length behind them, and then 2 lengths to Always Summer. Next is the Filbert, and then Astor Man starting to drop out of it from Samara, Tristark and El Talak to the outside, followed by Our Sophia. 600 out on the corner, and Bone Crusher eased up 3 deep to join the leaders on the turn. Bone Crusher drew level and hit the front from Glen Morriston, Feeder Away. The other New Zealander, the Filbert, is running on from Always Summer, Samara, Tristark, and then Black Knight to the outside, out Talak badly blocked for room. Bone Crushers dashed away 3 in front into the straight. The Filbert second from At Talak running on Always Summer. Further back, Tristark struggling with Our Sophia. At the 200, At Talak out after Bone Crushers, pegging it back, and stride. Bone Crusher the leader. At Telek challenging the inside, but Bone Crusher will win. He's hanging on and he comes away again to win a length to At Telek. 5 lengths.
Well, Bill, as we all know, there was plenty more to be seen of Bone Crusher and At Telek as the season progressed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Will, the Breeders' Plate must surely have the ultimate irony, with the three favourites being sons of Masqué, Rancher and Grosvenor. Respectively, I speak of Maysquet, Country Club and Omnicore. The Cummings-trained Omnicore missed the start badly from a wide barrier, while Maysquet went straight to the front.
Began well, and so did Champagne Party, and Mr. Shusha showing speed, and there's Wonga Chief speeding through to take on the leading horses. True Cobber's going with it, but look at Doff the Cap and Maysquet, and soon after inside the 800, Doff the Cap is joined by Maysquet along the rails and that. With Potrero dropping out next to last and Mr. Shusha's tailing the field. Maysquet taken on by Doff the Cap as they mount the rise, and Doff the Cap has joined Maysquet. The rider flicking at Maysquet. It's finding plenty on the inside of Doff the Cap. Omnicore is racing home well, then Nixon, and they're followed by I'm Ready and High Flight. But Maysquet has dropped Doff the Cap, who's fanning deep on the track, and Maysquet, given a flick with the whip, had shot away. Omnicore's coming after it, but Maysquet has beaten Omnicore.
After that race, Omnicore, the first big metric mile, is the $150,000 George Main Stakes at Randwick, a race which has met with a resurgence in recent years, with the AJC increasing the prize money and placing it before instead of after the Epsom Handicap. The 1986 George Main attracted only 9 runners, but was absolutely interest-packed. With Mick Dittman under suspension, Tommy Smith brought Darren Gauci from Melbourne to ride the 9-4 favourite Shankill Lass. We saw the first Sydney outing of the boom New Zealander Mr. Bourbon Boy, a giant chestnut gelding who had won at his previous 9 starts and defeated Bone Crusher at Weight for Age. And we saw the popular 4-year-old Drawn, a winner of 3 Group 1 races during his classic year.
$150,000 in prize money, and they're off. Mr. Bourbon Boy was just a shade tardy to begin, missed at about a half length, and they've bounded out in a nice even line. Roman Artist, last year's winner, first to show out over Dandy Andy, followed by Marchiquita, and then Riverdale and Shankill Lass, and Mr. Bourbon Boy improving rapidly after that slow start. A neck away on the outside of him is Heat of the Moment, and 2 lengths last Dinky Flyer to the crossing at the 800 mark, and Roman Artist is the leader by 1 length on Marchiquita. A length and a half to Riverdale, a specialist miler getting a dream run on the inside of Dandy Andy, and then Mr. Bourbon Boy, who looks to be travelling very well on the outside of Shankill Lass as they near the turn. A length and a half to Drawn, followed by Heat of the Moment, and Dinky Flyer's about to whip up on the outside, and Drawn is momentarily pushed back to last as they turn for home. Into the straight with 4:50 left to go, and Roman Artist just led the mare Marchiquita. 2 lengths away, Dandy Andy, Riverdale trying to push out of a pocket, followed by Shankill Lass, Dinky Flyer. Mr. Bourbon Boy floundering when they sprinted. He can't win at the 200. Marchiquita just led Roman Artist. Here he comes, Drawn. Little Drawn down the outside. Boy, look at him go. Drawn is overpowering Marchiquita. Drawn cutting Marchiquita down. He's going home better, and he's gone. Marchiquita kicked again. Drawn.
Marchiquita certainly improved enormously on her previous run, and no excuses 10th in the Cameron Handicap at Newcastle. But before that, she had run a meritorious second to Chanticleer in the Tramway Handicap at Randwick.
What he's seen the Queenslander Zephyr Cross topple Horse of the Year bounding away in the Group 2 Ascot Vale Stakes. But the emergence of this colt, Broadreach, began to restore their faith in the value of form. Watch how he treats his rivals with contempt in the Group 2 Foster's Moonee Valley Stakes.
Imperial Baron grabbed in a stride at the 500 by Tim's Gambler and El Vaquero, the 3 in line, and Broadreach 4 deep. He hasn't had much luck, but he's tackling the leaders. 4 lengths to Zephyr Cross, starting to run on from Bronze Knight, Mr. Moe. Broadreach reached the lead on the outside from Imperial Baron, kicking again. Tim's Gambler and El Vaquero gone, and then Zephyr Cross, but it's Broadreach and Imperial Baron. Broadreach doing better, straightened a length and a half in front. I think he's got the Foster's Moonee Valley Stakes 1. Imperial Baron second from El Vaquero, then Priceless Prince coming from the clouds, but too late, and down the straight they race, and Broadreach is going to win easily. Wins by about 2.5 lengths. El Vaquero second. Imperial.
Not surprisingly, the
old fillies. The first chance racegoers have to assess the girls after their winter layoff comes in the Group 2 Verve Cliquot Classic at Moonee Valley, in which Bounding Away was beaten by the New Zealand filly Society Bay. At Flemington 2 weeks later in the Group 2 Edward Manifold Stakes, Society Bay was again asked to unveil her classic credentials.
But Society Bay a length in front at the 300, drew away from Shackle, and they've kicked away. Third is Shootin' a Miss, and then came Alan, but now he lets Society Bay go. It canters away from Shackle, followed by Shootin' a Miss running on gamely on the outside from Flaming Wonder. But Society Bay goes on to score by 4 lengths. Shackle will run second.
And then back at Randwick the same afternoon, Bounding Away was doing her bit to convince punters that Society Bay was indeed something special.
Bounding Away is cruising up to them on the outside, and Dittman said go as they got to the top of the rise. Bounding Away hit the front, but not by far. Avondale Star is hanging on gamely. Bounding Away and Avondale Star together with 100 left to go. Dittman's got to pull out all stops on Bounding Away, and here comes Diamond Shower. Bounding Away won't give up, though. Her fighting heart will get her there, I think. Yes, she fell in to win.
Bounding Away's rematch with Society Bay, who had beaten her by 6 lengths at Moonee Valley, was now eagerly awaited.
The gloaming win was even more impressive than the Peter Pan, and consequently, Drought was installed at odds-on favourite to complete the Spring Triple Crown 3 weeks later in the $154,000 Group 1 AJC Spring Champion Stakes at Randwick.
About 8 lengths covers the Champion Stakes field at the 800 mark, and Imprimatur is the leader. Al Henry second, Tristram third, whipping around them, wide out Hader Prince, and then Robbie and Steele, Dandy Andy, followed by Big Zapple. Drought's running 7th, only 5 lengths off the lead as they near the turn. He's in between horses coming around the corner, followed by Gallery Level, Imperial Majesty and Urbane, and Adatari is last of all as they turn the corner. Into the straight now, Marshall starting to angle his way out into the clear on the long striding Drought, who's still about 5 lengths off the lead. Imprimatur going strongly as they come to the 200. He's kicked away clear of Tristram. Here comes the big boy. Drought is taking a while to wind up, but now he's starting to hit top gear, and look at him go. Drought with giant strides is going after Imprimatur. Imprimatur's in front. Drought might be dying on his run. He can't quite pick him up, and in a boil over. Imprimatur won the Champion Stakes a half length to Drought. Third is...
Jockey Malcolm Johnston summed up the Spring Champion Stakes when he said he had gotten away with blue murder in stacking the field up for the first 1,000 metres in a ridiculously slow 65.7. The win was a fine vindication of the judgment of trainer Jeff Chapman, who gave 550,000 New Zealand dollars for Imprimatur as a yearling. The Spring Champion Stakes started what was to be a very big year for the successful Medico turned racehorse track. A week after the George Main, the strength of that tramway form took an entirely new significance. With the Robert Sangster-owned stallion Periscope favourite at 4-1, let's go to the 1986 Epsom Handicap.
Chanticleer the leader, Marchiquita in hot pursuit, Kiwi Kong third, followed by Mr. Bourbon Boy, then Tars Quillo, Swift Cheval coming into it from Roman Artist and Zip Home, and Shankhill Lass on the extreme outside. Periscope is under pressure, he can't win as they come to the 200 mark, and Marchiquita is going after Chanticleer, who's giving a ton of cheek. Kiwi Kong in third place, and then Swift Cheval and Shankhill Lass. It's Chanticleer just in front, Marchiquita trying desperately to wear him down. Mark de Montfort throwing everything at Chanticleer. Marchiquita can't reach him, and Chanticleer led all the way to win the Epsom.
Bill, after the Epsom, the only logical place for Chanticleer to head was south to Melbourne. This year, the principal contestants in the Metropolitan were the perennial Fox Seal, contesting the race for the 3rd successive year, Newcastle Cup winner Indian Raj, the top staying mare Born to be Queen, and the 3 place-getters from the Colin Stephen Handicap, namely Rising Fear, Sea Pictures and Raj Amar.
Quickly, Born to be Queen going with him, and then Jamaica in, followed by Cuba's Gold, who lost ground from Sea Pictures, Zephyr. Further back, Raj Amar, followed by Saxon White, Lady Nuke, and then Sprightly Native, and Fox Seal is a mile back as they turn the corner. Into the straight now, 3 leaders. Home Office, Indian Raj and Rising Fear come over the rise together. Born to be Queen on the extreme outside is about to run into 2nd place, and she's the big danger to Indian Raj. At the 200, Indian Raj the leader. Born to be Queen on the outside is throwing down the gauntlet. Born to be Queen coming at Indian Raj. They're going to fight it out. It's Quinton at his very best on Born to be Queen. The big bay mare put the head in front close to home, and Born to be Queen wins the Metrop. A great ride by Quinton.
Born to be Queen is by the defunct French-bred staying sire In the Purple, whose other major winners were Golden Black and How Now. Her dam, Lady Envoy, was a non-winning diplomatic agent, half-sister to Shy Tan, one of the toughest stayers ever to come out of New Zealand.
$1,000 Group 1 Caulfield Guineas was seen as a two-way clash of Broadreach and Drought, with Imperial Baron and Wild Rampage the only other colts under double-figure odds.
Then Auto Air, Tim's Gambler, Drought in the centre, Zephyr Cross, Broadreach behind them. They were followed then by Cameronic and Wild Rampage going around them quickly from Bataan. A couple of lengths further back, El Vaquero. Then came Aberidi, followed by Imperial Baron. Drought looked to get a check and dropped out quickly, and Diamonds for Us last. Over the hill they race, and Wild Rampage has taken up the running at the back by Imperial Baron. Auto Air is just in front of it at this stage, then Tim's Gambler. Drought's back third last from Aberidi, and Diamonds for Us. They come down the side at the 700. Wild Rampage about 3 parts of a length to Cameronic. Broadreach made a run but has been pushed 4 deep by Sea Swell. El Vaquero is just behind them from Tristram. Bataan, Zephyr Cross, Never Quit. Then Imperial Baron, Drought last of the main bunch. On the corner they race now. Cameronic, Wild Rampage, Sea Swell and Broadreach off the track from El Vaquero. Tristram trying to get out from Bataan. Imperial Baron looking for a run, and then Drought. In the straight they race, and Broadreach out wide has gone up with Cameronic and Sea Swell to hit the front. Then came Tristram behind them. Drought is struggling with Imperial Baron. Cameronic is in front. Sea Swell and Broadreach coming at it again from Tristram. Broadreach put his head in front on the outside. Here's Aberidi on the rails. Aberidi's won the Guineas.
Aberidi's win was certainly the single largest shock of the racing here. It was hard to say Aberidi fluked the Guineas because his win was achieved under difficulties and was a splendid individual performance. However, the facts remain that Aberidi had done nothing before the Guineas and has done little since.
At the hit Top Gear. The Victoria Amateur Turf Club holds its big 3-day carnival in early October, and opening day, known as Guineas Day, is probably the best. Apart from seeing the best 3-year-old colts in the land for the Australian equivalent of the English 2,000 guineas at Newmarket, there are 3 important qualifying races for the Foster's Caulfield Cup the following week. Now, the first of these was the Group 1 Elders Mile, a race worth $100,000 and which in 1987 gave us the Caulfield Cup favourite.
600, Black Charleston only about 2.5 to keepers now. Here's Lockley's Tradition and Rebecca Gay making their runs, and Canny Lass is going well behind them from Federalism. Marchakita, Luther's Luck, Shankill Lass not in the race. On the corner now, and keepers getting a split's gone up to Black Charleston. Lockley's Tradition the outside, then Rebecca Gay, Canny Lass trying to get out, and then Federalism, Luther's Luck, Marchakita. Lockley's Tradition got to the lead. Canny Lass coming out after it on the outside, and then Rebecca Gay and Marchakita. Canny Lass races up to Lockley's Tradition. They're having a great go. Canny Lass doing a little bit the better, and Canny Lass has won it about a half length. They go towards the 800.
The $100,000 Group 1 Caulfield Stakes was to serve 2 purposes. Firstly, it would provide the champion Bone Crusher with a pipe opener for the Cox Plate a fortnight later. Secondly, there were 4 high-class stayers putting their Caulfield Cup credentials on display.
Losing ground 2 to Black Knight, and last of all is the Filbert. They swing to the corner, 500 out. Tristark, Hard-Ridden and Priceless Prince. Bone Crusher's going half-face behind them. About a length and a half away, Black Knight, the Filbert to the outside, and My Tristram's Bell. Around the turn, Stuart eases Bone Crusher up to join Tristark, who's under the whip from Priceless Prince. And the modern-day Big Red sprints to the lead, 2:50 to go. Shot away from Tristark, Black Knight, Fearless Prince and the Filbert. And look out, land of the rising sun. Here we come to Japan. Bone Crusher by 5 lengths, racing away. Scores by 5 lengths to Black Knight. Then came Affinity Imperial.
The final qualifying race on Guineas Day is the Group 2 Herbert Power Handicap, run over the exact course and distance of the Caulfield Cup. With no Bone Crusher to contend with, At Tallack was favourite at 9 to 4.
Norfolk Bard, Glen Morriston into the straight now, and the leader Feeder a while. At Tallack's gone up easily on the outside to tackle him. Wider out Farristan from Hollinger, from Sea Legend running on well. Feeder a while the leader. At Tallack struggling. Farristan running on well down the outside. Feeder a while at Tallack and Farristan. Farristan coming at them quickly, has hit the front now. And Farristan's coming away to score by about a length and a half to either Feeder a while.
Having shown a match with Society Bay, who had beaten her by 6 lengths at Moonee Valley, was now eagerly awaited. However, the 1,000 guineas was always going to be much, much more than a head-on clash of Society Bay and Bounding Away.
They're racing. Bounding away, quickly away, with Lockley's Daughter, and also getting away well wide, Julie and Magic Flute, and they're followed by Society Bay up in about 5th position as they settle down into stride. At the end of 200 metres, Society Bay is going to go to the front. Society Bay charged to the lead from Bounding Away, followed by Wide Julie, 3 deep, and Lockley's Daughter. 3 lengths to Magic's last. At the 1,000-metre mark, Wide Julie went up to join Society Bay. A length and a half further back, bounding away, tucked in on the inside of Lockley's Daughter. Magic Flute to the outside next, and Shackle making up some ground from La Cadeau. They were followed further back in the field. Then Shootin' a Miss coming into it from Born a Lady. Then came My Cambita, dropping out of it at this stage with Laleham in the centre of that pack. And well back is Avondale Star at the rear with Diamond Shower second last. On the turn, 500 out, Society Bay on the inside, joined by Wide Julie, also Magic Flute and Shackle, 4 in line. Looking for a run is bounding away behind them, and then Lockley's Daughter to the outside is La Cadeau. Highland says go, and Society Bay shot away. 2 in front into the straight now from Magic Flute on the outside, Shackle. The leaders shortening stride, however, then came bounding away, can't go on with it, and out wide, Shootin' a Miss. Shootin' a Miss and Magic Flute have raced to the front. Magic Flute just the leader. Shootin' a Miss trying to get to it, but Magic Flute's going to win it. About a neck to
Magic Flute is the best winner from the one small crop of the deceased stallion Adran, a former brilliant...
Having shown you the lead-up from 2 states over the previous month, wouldn't it be ironic if a horse who appeared in none of the lead-ups was to win the Foster's Caulfield Cup?
Racing. And over near the inside, Farristan jumped in the air, lost 2 lengths. Mr. Lamondi first out from Attalac. Then the Filbert Samara, getting away well, Canny Lass, and the Imprimatur coming from the outside, withdrawn towards the leaders. Tristram going up quickly with Rising Fear, and then Born to be Queen, followed by Tristark. Next is Periscope, and then came Our Sophia from Colour Page, the outside. Indian Raj back second last, and last out of the straight is Just Now. And Rising Fear's gone out about 2.5 lengths to Imprimatur. 2 to Mr. Lamondi, 1 to Canny Lass. Attalac on its inside, a length to Tristram. Half a length to the Filbert. Farristan on the inside of the next bunch, followed by Periscope. Then came on the outside of those horses now Samara making a little bit of ground. Our Sophia is in the centre. Drawn has improved from My Tristram's Bell. A length and a half Colour Page. Then came at the head of the rest then would be over on the inside is Tristark. It was followed by Indian Raj, Born to be Queen being hard ridden, and Just Now at the rear, 20 off the lead. 1,100 to go. Rising Fear a half length to Imprimatur. On the outside, Mr. Lamondi moving up 3 deep. Attalac having the run of the race from Canny Lass, and then came the Filbert. About a length further back in the field then is Tristram from Drawn. Farristan badly needing a run from Periscope. Then Samara, a length and a half further back, Our Sophia, Colour Page, Tristark, Indian Raj is boxed up from Tristram's Bell, and 3 lengths to Born to be Queen and Just Now. 700 to go, and here Mr. Lamondi headed off. Imprimatur who's in second placing. On the outside, the Filbert's putting in its challenge from Canny Lass, 4 deep. Attalac trying to get out, so is Farristan, Drawn, Tristram. They're followed then by Periscope at the head of the others from Samara and Our Sophia, and then Colour Page. Into the straight, Mr. Lamondi shot clear. Attalac's got out, going after him now. On the outside of them is the Filbert. Farristan starting to run on under the whip, and then came Periscope and Tristram. Mr. Lamondi clear with 200 to go from Attalac. They're well clear then of Farristan and Tristram, but Mr. Lamondi in front with 100 to go, and he's going to win the Caulfield Cup. Mr. Lamondi wins by a little over 2 lengths to Attalac.
The Caulfield Cup was the 11th win from a career total of only 32 starts for Mr. Lamondi, who captured the 1986 Adelaide Cup with comparable disregard for his rivals. The noble Bijou gelding was ridden by polished New Zealand horseman David Walsh, and the victory saw him become outright favourite for the Foster's Melbourne Cup in 17 days' time.
Omnicorp went to Melbourne for the Maribyrnong Plate, Country Club went for a spell, and Mays K became a short-priced favourite for Sydney's major spring 2-year-old event, the Group 2 Silver Slipper Stakes. The racecourse discussion, however, centred around the big Sir Tristram colt Marauding, reputed to be the best youngster in the Brian Mayfield Smith stable.
Onto the course proper, 700 out, and Mays K slipped away by a length and a half to Dream Faith on the outside of Judy Ann. 2 lengths away is Marauding. On the outside, a special finish, a gap to Y Lodge, Regiment hard ridden. Then Lily Antoinette and well back Wangaratta, Red Express, Golden Drake, followed by Mnemonic, Mighty Willem and Empire State last of all. Into the straight past the 400, Mays K the leader. The filly Judy Ann on the outside in hot pursuit, followed by Dream Faith. Regiment starting to run on well, and then special finish at the 200, Mays K kicked, he's well clear. Special finish getting into second place. Further out, Marauding. Mays K the leader with 100 to go. Special finish, and Marauding won't pick him up. Marauding on the outside is rapidly overhauling Mays K. The postal loom up just in time. And
well, Bill, the judge gave it to Mays K, but most of us left Rosehill that day believing we had seen a real star of the future.
Marauding stage, you've seen most of the major Victoria Derby candidates. Imprimatur, Drought, Aberidi, Tristram and Dandy Andy have all displayed their credentials. 7 days before the Derby, a new one emerged. The Jim Maloney trained colt Ravenel, having his first start in blinkers, won the Herald Vase over 2,040 metres in determined style. But with Ravenel's jockey Pat Harland having already been engaged for drought, Sydney's Ron Quinton took the mount in the 500,000. Moonee Valley on Cox Plate Day sees the running of the Group 2 A.J. Moyer Stakes, a weight for age event over 1,000 metres. The race unveiled 2 stars of the autumn. Now watch for the performance of Campaign King. He's the chestnut with the white blaze in barrier 1.
Now the lights on again and they're racing. Campaign King jumped away all right on the inside. Chisango's going fast. Campaign King is dropping back. He's not going the early speed. Lynn's Love has got away well with Let's Get Physical, and here goes Testimony driving through towards the lead, and he's being attended by Special. As the field settles down and comes up the side, it's Testimony from Special and Let's Get Physical, Aqualone, Star Pyramid, Mr. Cheap to Sango, Lynn's Love, New Atlantis, Richfield Lad, and Campaign King on the fence is last. He's 8 lengths from the lead and got nowhere to go. Near the turn, it's Testimony and Special. Aqualone going up on the outside. Mr. Cheap wide, New Atlantis, Star Pyramid, Campaign King getting through the field. He's a chance now. He's about 2 lengths off the lead. He's held up for a run again. Special's bounded away. New Atlantis out after Special, and then Campaign King. It's New Atlantis going after Special. Campaign King coming fast, but Special in front, and Special's won it. Campaign King second.
After that race, Special went to the spelling paddock. Campaign King was packed off to Perth. 7. It was not the Caulfield Cup, nor the Melbourne Cup, nor the Derby or Oaks which attracted the combined attentions of media and public. It was the Cox Plate, Australia's most famous weight for age race. The acknowledged race of champions. For the entire spring, everyone had been looking forward to the showdown between Bone Crusher and Our Waverley Star. Their form was faultless. Now, you've already seen Bone Crusher's 2 magnificent wins at his 2 Australian starts since returning from New Zealand. Our Waverley Star, too, was in superb form in New Zealand, and trainer Dave O'Sullivan had the chestnut primed for his long-awaited Australian debut. Here it is, the one they called the Race of the Century.
This is it, they're racing. Imprimatur away very quickly over near the rails with Society Bay. Drought has begun well also. Now let's have a look where Bone Crusher is back behind them at the rear as they settle down trying to get near the fence, and Our Waverley Star's caught deep. Roman Artist and Dandy Andy took them out of the straight, 1.5 lengths. Imprimatur and Society Bay deep. They were followed then by, in the centre of that bunch, Mark Chiquita drawn the rails. 2 lengths further back, the Filbert and Drought, 1 length to Waverley, Our Waverley Star, who's still wide. 2.5 lengths then a Bone Crusher, followed by Dinky Flyer, Aberidi, and last of all, Tristram. At the 1400, Roman Artist, 1.5 lengths in front now from Dandy Andy and Society Bay the outside. 1 length to Mark Chiquita and 1.5 lengths drawn, tucked in on the fence from Imprimatur. Our Waverley Star still 3 deep in the race, and on the rails, the Filbert and Drought the centre. 2 lengths to Aberidi, Bone Crusher on its inside, 2 to Dinky Flyer and 1 length to Tristram. They've got 1100 to go. Roman Artist cutting out a fair pace, out 1.5 lengths. Society Bay clear second now. On the rails, Dandy Andy and 1/2 length to Mark Chiquita, 2 lengths to Drawn, having a good run from Imprimatur. Our Waverley Star will want to be far up. Here's Bone Crusher. He's pulled into the outside, shooting around them, and Our Waverley Star's going with it. Aberidi at the head of the others with Drought, Dinky Flyer, the Filbert and Tristram. Here come the New Zealanders, Our Waverley Star and Bone Crusher. They've raced to the lead, 600 out. Have they gone too early? 2 lengths to Drought, running up the third from Society Bay. They were followed then by Drawn under the whip at the head of the others, Dinky Flyer. But Our Waverley Star, he got 1/2 length to Bone Crusher. He's gone for the whip on Bone Crusher. 3 lengths to Drought, followed then by Dinky Flyer and Drawn. But the 2 great New Zealanders have come away on the turn. Our Waverley Star, 1/2 length Bone Crusher. The big red won't give in. Drought running on. Bone Crusher responds to the whip. The roars of the crowd. He races up to Our Waverley Star. 100 out. Bone Crusher, Our Waverley Star. Stride for stride. Nothing in it. Our Waverley Star, the rails. Bone Crusher, the outside. And Bone Crusher races into equine immortality. It was Crusher, Our Waverley Star. Stride for stride. Nothing in it. Our Waverley Star, the rails. Bone Crusher, the outside. And Bone Crusher races into equine immortality. $1.5 million as he photo finishes Our Waverley Star.
Quarters, Bone Crusher is under the whip in second, placing 3 lengths to Drought around the home turn, and it's our Waverley Star the leader, but Bone Crusher responds. Bone Crusher's race to the front now from our Waverley Star, then Drought and the Filbert. Bone Crusher a neck in front. Our Waverley Star's coming again on the inside. Our Waverley Star getting the Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher and our Waverley Star, they hit the line. Photo, Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher's wanted to head our Waverley Star.
These 2 mighty chestnuts, Waverley Star a long neck, the Bone Crusher draws level. 3 to Drought running on the Filbert. Bone Crusher's taken the lead from Waverley Star. The Filbert running on the Bone Crusher a neck in front. Waverley Star comes at him. 50 to go. Bone Crusher and Waverley Star, they're going to hit it together. Bone Crusher and Waverley Star, the Bone Crusher. The greatest race I've ever seen.
Marvellous racing. It was a magic moment, and look, just to see it was magic. To be part of it was something else.
It was one of the most magical moments in almost 180 years of Australian racing, possessing everything that racing should be. The crowd at Moonee Valley gave both horses a hero's welcome when they returned to scale. It was more than a race. It was a great sporting event. Brian, Derby Day at Flemington is one of the best days racing in Australia. The RC conducts Australia's richest spring 2-year-old, the Maribyrnong Plate, a race which boasts winners of the calibre of Vane, Biscay, Baguette, Star Shower, Blazing Saddles and, of course, Rancher. This year, the Maribyrnong Plate was unusual because the most brilliant of the pre-season trial winners, Rancho Ruler, was contesting the race at his very first start.
Down towards the 600 and Proven Valor about a length to Rancho Ruler, 2.5 lengths to Miami Vice. Omnicore being hard ridden back behind them, and then Bold Sculptor under the whip and Lord Tiamo at the rear. 400 to go, Proven Valor and Rancho Ruler. They've cleared away. Rancho Ruler's going well on the outside. 2.5 lengths Miami Vice and Omnicore going to the inside. But 300 to go, Rancho Ruler's taken the lead. It's got the upper hand of Proven Valor, a long gap Miami Vice and then Omnicore. Rancho Ruler first up in a Maribyrnong Plate. He knew what he was doing. Marconi is going to walk in. Rancho Ruler wins by about 3 or 4 lengths. Proven Valor second.
Without detracting in any way from Magic Flute's performance, it was apparent that much of the form on the controversial Caulfield racing surface was wrong. Brian Mayfield Smith's other top-class filly, Diamond Shah, set about proving that point a fortnight later at Flemington in the Group 2 Wakeful Stakes.
On the corner, Shapery at the 600 by 6 lengths. Avondale Star second, a length to Licadoo. Inchidoni to the outside from Diamond Shower and Round the World. Shackle trying to get out. Then Laleham at the head of the rest from Flaming Wonder. With 400 to go, Shapery by 3 or 4 lengths. Licadoo going into second place from Avondale Star. Then Inchidoni and Round the World. Licadoo getting up to tackle Shapery. Inchidoni running on well. Licadoo won't go straight. Shapery the leader. Licadoo getting at it now. Diamond Shower and Inchidoni on the outside. It's Diamond Shower coming at Licadoo quickly with 100 to go. Inchidoni wider out, then Blazing Fontaine. But Diamond Shower went to the lead and Diamond Shower's going to win it.
With Diamond Shower looking so strong at the end of 2,000 metres in the Wakeful.
The $500,000 Hong Kong Bank Victoria Derby.
Wonder Ravenel a length further back. Government House struggling a little now. Dundas Lane is also struggling. Prince Whitten to the outside from Latin Rule Dandy Andy. Drought pulled out about 6 wide as they come to the corner from Productivity and Sound Horizon. Into the straight, Imprimatur, a length to Century Prince. Tristram getting out, going up to tackle it now. Priceless Princess under the whip. Ravenel on the outside. Government House coming again. Dundas Lane going for a split, and there followed further back Prince Whittan. And with about 300 to go, it's Imprimatur under the whip, the leader. Drought getting clear with Ravenel is coming out after the leader from Tristram, but Imprimatur refusing to give in at the 200. A length and a half to Ravenel and Drought. Ravenel and Drought are getting to it now. It's 3 in line with 50 to go. Ravenel and Drought have drawn level with Imprimatur. Ravenel on the inside puts his head in front. Ravenel's won it.
Ravenel is the biggest winner to date for the imported Northern Dancer stallion Voodoo Rhythm, who was brought to Victoria in 1982. Voodoo Rhythm now stands alongside Biscay and Dalmatia at Beamer Stud Scone. For Ron Quinton, 8 times Premier Sydney jockey, the win was a further stimulus to his climb back to the top after being sidelined.
For a crack at the $125,000 Group 1 Gadsden Stakes run down the straight 1,200-metre track. On the strength of his liking for the Flemington track and his great second to Canny Lass in the Marlborough Cup, Taj Quillo was best backed, firming from 3 to 1 to 5 to 2.
They're racing Down on the inside, Black Charleston and Highly Regal got away well with Princess Dram showing speed, and so is New Atlantis. Richfield's Lad drops behind the pace. Arch Sovereign is settling just behind there, and the rest of them have headed to the outside rail, where Brinkman is one of the leaders with Blazing Kill from Fair Paint. Taj Quillow's a couple of lengths off the pace. No Parole just behind him. Warlike is there also, and behind them is Bullion Broker from Kiwi Kong, and Lakeworth is about 4 lengths from the lead on the grandstand side. As they race to the course proper now, the outside horses look to be in the lead. It's Brinkman against the grandstand rail from Blazing Kill. Warlike, Taj Quillow and No Parole are well bunched up there from Bullion Broker, and then Fair Paint, Lakeworth, Kiwi Kong on the inside of the track, and it's New Atlantis and Princess Dram from Highly Regal and Richfield's Lad staking a claim, but they come by the 200, and Taj Quillow has reached the lead on the outside of the track. Bullion Broker coming hard at him. Blazing Kill on the inside. It's Richfield's Lad fighting it out with Princess Dram. Soon after, it's Bullion Broker and Taj Quillow. It's Taj Quillow and Bullion Broker, and Taj Quillow's beaten Bullion Broker, probably Richfield.
The Gadsden victory was something of a sentimental journey for owners Victor and Lila Peters, who 13 years earlier had led Taj Rossi back to scale after winning the Victoria Derby. The Peters retained ownership of Taj Rossi throughout his stud career and bred Taj Quillow from a mare they bought in England specifically to mate with Taj Rossi.
This year it was particularly significant from a Melbourne Cup point of view. Those assessing Derby Day form alone could have come up with the Melbourne Cup trifecta, which in Victoria paid over $6,000. The Group 1 LKS McKinnon Stakes is a time-honoured Melbourne Cup pointer on Derby Day. This weight-for-age event over 2,000 metres represents an annual puzzle for punters, as it's the last opportunity to assess many of the key Melbourne Cup prospects. This season, the McKinnon Stakes answered a lot of questions.
Starting to go forward. 900 to go. Roman Artist is 8 lengths in front. In second place, Periscope from Direct Mail, a length and a half. At Talac has travelled well. Mr. Lamondi struggling from Colour Page, and there followed further back Joel, Born to be Queen, just now on Chanteur. 600 out, Roman Artist, about 5 lengths to At Talac. Periscope's hanging badly, taking Direct Mail off the track. Coming home well, Colour Page, and there followed then by Mr. Lamondi. In the straight, Roman Artist 2 in front, but At Talac's moving up stylishly to him. They're 3 lengths in front of Colour Page, Mr. Lamondi, and then Periscope is well beaten. It's Roman Artist responding well to the whip at the 300. A length to At Talac, Colour Page and Mr. Lamondi getting up on the fence. At Talac's got Roman Artist now, drew to the lead. Mr. Lamondi can't go on. At Talac's in front, and the English horse is going to win the McKinnon. He's won it well. Colour Page finishing on nicely, but At Talac's won it a length and a quarter. Colour Page ahead to Roman Artist third.
Dalgety is a 2,500 metre Group 2 race under handicap conditions, and is a revered cup guide, particularly when looking for the lightly weighted handicapping stayer who is just reaching his peak. This year a big betting plunge was launched on the Metropolitan Handicap runner-up, Indian Raj.
Sea Legend, major drivers easing to the outside, pushing Waratah Bay deep. Then came Indian Raj getting up on the inside, and then Rising Fear in the straight, and Kativo went to the lead. Empire Rose tackling. Sea Legend into the clear. Black Knight behind the leaders. Major Drive given full bores running on. 250 to go. Empire Rose in front of Kativo. Then Sea Legend. Major Drive's under the whip. Empire Rose ahead in front. Kativo coming again, and Sea Legend finishing quickly. Empire Rose a neck in front of Sea Legend and Kativo. Sea Legend's going home the better. They hit the line. Photo. Sea Legend and nose.
The Derby Day results injected enormous interest into cup discussions. But in the minds of the betting public, the McKinnon win of At Talac served principally to reinforce the form of Mr. Lamondi, who had beaten the Roberto Stallion so decisively at Caulfield. Consequently, Mr. Lamondi firmed from 6s to start favourite at 5 to 1, half the odds of At Talac, under an avalanche of big bets. With all the preliminaries determined, with an estimated $70 million in bets in place, with 86,841 on-course patrons taking up every vantage point, and with an estimated international television audience of 80 million people tuning in, the 22 runners are under starters' orders for the $1 million Group 1 Foster's Melbourne Cup.
Lights on, racing. My Tristram's Bell away well from Mint Master, and Sea Legend began nicely then just now, and Mr. Lamondi. Feeder Awar moving across from the outside, and also Joel going up handily. At Talac has begun well. Clark looking for somewhere to put him, and then came Born to be Queen. Fordyce on the outside from Rising Fear and Waratah Bay. Back at the rear is Kiwi with Indian Raj and Samasan just in front of it.
Onto the course proper the first time, and Feeder Awara linked to At Talak up second, one off the fence. My Tristram's Bell third from Mintmaster Enchanteur, the outside Sea Legend. A length into Joel, Empire Rose next and pulling, followed further back on the inside by Black Knight. Then a length to Waratah Bay, Mr. Lamondi in the middle of the field. Our Sophia on 1800 out. It's Feeder Awar leading a little over a length to At Talak. Rising Fear continuing that run's gone up to be second now. Then My Tristram's Bell, a length and a half. Sea Legend from Mintmaster, a length to Joel, followed by Empire Rose. Then Enchanteur, Mr. Lamondi being eased out to make a run, and then 2 lengths to Waratah Bay. Then Black Knight, Born to be Queen, a length and a half further back, Our Sophia. Reckless Tradition over on the outside of it at this stage from Indian Raj, and a length to Final Advance being hard ridden. They were followed by Kiwi and Four Dice, and they've got right away about 5 lengths in front of Dark Intruder, and now just now called on, but giving them a very big start, and Samasan in the centre. At the 1200, Feeder Awar only a half length to Rising Fear. A length and a half At Talak, who's had a lovely run. Fourth, My Tristram's Bell. Joel has never been on the track. Sea Legend pushing through from Waratah Bay. A length into Mr. Lamondi, getting closer on the outside. It's followed by Empire Rose, struggling a bit from Mintmaster. Then Born to be Queen commencing a run, followed further back by Black Knight. Then at the head of the others came Our Sophia Enchanteur. Born to be Queen is in that bunch. Samasan is still well back near the rear, and Kiwi hasn't made any ground. On the corner they race now. Feeder Awar 600 out and Rising Fear. A length to At Talak poised behind them. They're followed then behind those horses at the head of the others by Mintmaster. It was followed then by Mr. Lamondi out wide. At the 400-metre mark now, At Talak's about to move up and claim these leaders. Rising Fear took the lead from Feeder Awar. At Talak's grabbed it. Then My Tristram's Bell from Joel, Sea Legend. Mr. Lamondi struggling. At Talak shot clear. Michael Clark riding for dear life. The American horse a length and a half in front of Rising Fear. Then Sea Legend out wide, Kiwi. He's flashing home. It'll be too late today. And down to the line, At Talak's won the cup. 3/4 of a
First prize of 600.
About third last. Born to be Queen in front of those horses, and Dark Intruders last into the straight. They've got 450 to go in the cup. Feeder Awar joined by Rising Fear. At Talak about to come at them from My Tristram's Bell, Mintmaster. Joel with a run. Empire Rose, Mr. Lamondi, Born to be Queen running on in Reckless Tradition. At Talak at the 300s, burst away from Rising Fear. 2 lengths to Sea Legend. Further back, Joel, Mr. Lamondi, Kiwi with a late run. At Talak in front from Rising Fear. Kiwi running on with Sea Legend. Clark's got it. Talak's a length and a half in front of Rising Fear. Colin Hayes wins his second cup. At Talak a half Rising Fear. Third.
The cup was a triumph for Clark, who had been number 2 rider for Hayes for a number of years. His loyalty and professionalism paid off when he was given the number 1 position, replacing Darren Gauci.
It was of $650,000 made At Talak the 4th millionaire racehorse in Australia, following Kingston Town, Manikato and Bounding Away. This handsome stallion, owned by Sheikh Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum, is now a 3 times Group 1 winner, and as a son of the successful stallion Roberto, he certainly deserves his chance at stud. At Talak's triumph was the 2nd Melbourne Cup for trainer Colin Hayes, and the 1st for Melbourne's premier jockey, Michael Clark.
Going to win it.
With Diamond Shower looking so strong at the end of 2,000 metres in the Wakeful, while giving weight to all her opponents, the prospect of a wet track looked to be the only thing against her 5 days later in the VRC Oaks, which this year was reinstated to its rightful position as Australasia's richest classic for fillies, at $250,000.
And there's going to be a wall of them going out of the straight, where Diamond Shower, the favourites, got back to 3rd last with Show 'em Sadie and High Beauty. Out of the straight, Bridal Falls. It goes to the lead to be 3 lengths in front of Inchidoni and Show 'em Sadie. 1200 out, Bridal Falls kicked away again to be 2 lengths in front of Shapery. The saddle slipped on it. Half a length away, Overcast from there. 3 lengths to in 4th place, Danita's Gold. Next, it's being hard ridden, followed by Inchidoni. A length further back then came Around the World and Diamond Shower creeping up on the rails from Larkado. They're followed by Pseudonym Miss, and next in the field, Damn Cell. Behind those horses then Shackle looking for a run with High Beauty and Show 'em Sadie. They've packed right up at the turn. Danita's Gold's gone to the lead. In 2nd placing now, getting up there is Overcast from Inchidoni. Bridal Falls stopped as though shot. Diamond Shower trying to get out with Larkado. Pseudonym Miss and Shackle round the outside. Into the straight, Danita's Gold, the leader from Larkado. Diamond Shower going for a split over nearer the rails and then Round the World. Diamond Shower went to the lead. And the favourites in front at the 400, a length, Dunedin's Gold. Shackle running on. Then Overcast, followed by Larkado and Student Miss at the head of the others, Inchadoni. But it's the leader, well clear. Diamond Shower's going to win by 5 minutes, I think. Diamond Shower 3 lengths in front of Shackle, Dunedin's Gold. And Diamond Shower's blitzed them in the Oaks to win by 3 lengths to Shackle. 5 lengths away third, Dunedin's Gold. Then
Diamond Shower was bred and is 50% owned by Cliff Vincent, from the mating of his top-class Zephyr Bay horse Zephyr Zip to his very best mare, the Golden Slipper and 1,000 Guineas place-getter, Jewel Flight.
Instigation of a $200,000 bonus for the winner of the Epsom Handicap Ampol Stakes Double was well received in 1985, particularly by the connections of Riverdale. Owner Robert Holmes Court and trainer Tommy Smith set Chanticleer for the same double in '86.
At the 800, Romanada's bowling, a length in front of Chanticleer, a length and a half. Black Arrow running a race. Then Avondale aiming, moving up. Marchakita can't get on the track from Eastern Classic, Follow the Light. Then came Splendid Speed, giving them a good start from Deedle on the inside, and Riverdale still making ground out wide. Into the straight, 500 to go. Romanada's left the rails, but led a length and a half. Chanticleer. Black Arrow going up on the fence. Avonado out wider, and then came Eastern Classic. Bicentenary threading its way through. Splendid Speed struggling, and so is Marchakita. And further back, Dinky Flyer starting to come home with Federalism. But Chanticleer has swept to the lead with 200 to go. Raced away from Bicentenary, Romanada's. Dinky Flyer running on with Avonado. But the big $200,000 bonus is coming up. Chanticleer wins it well. Eastern Classic second, Bicentenary.
Chanticleer is yet another remarkable homebred for Mr. Holmes Court's Hatesbury stud in Western Australia, whose other products have included Melbourne Cup winner Black Knight and Golden Slipper runner-up Speed Check.
One more important race in Melbourne I'd like to show you. It's the Sandown Guineas, Group 2 race over the metric mile at Sandown, but it boasts a real gallery of horses amongst its previous winners. This year, the Sandown Guineas rewarded the consistency of one of Sydney's best colts, while at the same time providing us with a sneak preview of a future Group 1 winner.
50 to go. Command Code a half length in front of Cavalry, 1 El Vaquero. Military Plumes travelled pretty well next from Highly Regal, then Sea Swell. King of Brooklyn under great pressure from Warren. Cavalry went up on the outside as they straightened and took the lead on straightening from Command Code. Military Plume is coming at him very comfortably on the outside from Sea Swell. I think Cavalry's gone. Military Plume's grabbed him. Sea Swell coming at them from King of Brooklyn. And with 2:50 to go, Military Plume and Sea Swell have beaten off Cavalry from King of Brooklyn. It's Military Plume ahead in front. Seaswell getting to him. Seaswell draws level as they get near the line. Stride to the post, and Seaswell's won it. Ahead to Military.
This year we were fortunate to have our own man on the spot in New Zealand during the carnival. Brian, tell us about it.
Well, Bill, the New Zealand Classics get underway just as the Melbourne Cup Carnival is winding down. Riccarton Racecourse in Christchurch is the venue for the first of the Phillies Classics, the Group 1 Wrightson 1,000 Guineas. Fittingly, it provided a great insight as to the relative abilities of 2 top-class females.
On the rails to Rough is joined by Midnight Lady, the outsider. Just in behind those, but trying to get through then would have been Magdalene. It's followed over on the inside of those runners by Golden Amethyst. Round the outside, Trotanoir. Heroica in the middle. Our Big Bird is back to the tail of the field. And just on the inside to Neverwinter. But round towards the home turn now, Untitled Light, the favourite. She's out 4 wide coming around the bend. But she's gone round and scurried into the lead. Cure, though, is going pretty well along the rail. Rakout Tiffany has given it away. Midnight Lady's wider out and further out to Amorous. Coming down the outside is Trotanoir. Just in behind those, then they were followed by Magdalene. But with 300 to go, Cure's in front. It's Cure from Tidal Light, and the others, they're hard at work. Magdalene's finishing on pretty well up through the middle and down on the inside. Midnight Lady and further in then to Radiate. But down to the post, and Cure has got it won by 2 lengths from Tidal Light. Magdalene's
Cure was one of 7 individual Group 1 winners this season, sired by the stallion phenomenon Sir Tristram. She is owned and bred by Okawa Stud and descends directly from the famous broodmare Miss Cute, imported to Okawa over 60 years ago by the late T.H. Lowry, whose grandson Tom currently owns the stud.
Now here's a performance. Watch what happens as jockey Gary Grill sends the grey Steely Dan straight to the front in the Group 1 New Zealand 2,000 Guineas.
On their way, Shannon came out 2 lengths behind the field. Steely Dan began best. Also kicking out to the leaders, Mickey's Town. Right behind them is Bolton, and up out wider to Arctic Wolf, start tailing off as they race round that far turn. They race on to the 800-metre mark. Steely Dan the grey by 3/4 of a length from Arctic Wolf. Right on his quarter, he's travelling well for David Walsh, the favourite. And right behind them, Mickey's Town. On the rails behind those two, One Guinea just eases off to go up on the outside now. And further out a bit, Makey's making a bit of a run. Mr. Aythorpe in the centre. They were followed by Bolton along the rail, then Sir's Use and Shannon the tail ender as they turn for home. 500 metres to run on the Feltex New Zealand Guineas. And they're at the 400. Steely Dan the leader. Arctic Wolf is being pushed along in the middle of the track. I think he may have put his head in front, but David Walsh has gone for the stick, and Steely Dan's doing a little better. Arctic Wolf being called upon. Mickey's Town starting to drive up on the inside. The others, they're beaten. It's Steely Dan now. It's Steely Dan. Arctic Wolf under heavy pressure, and Mickey's Town, but Steely Dan the grey's doing it too easily. He's out by 2 lengths. Down towards the line he goes, and he's won the Guineas well. Second home, Mickey's Town.
Steely Dan is clearly the most significant winner yet for Sandown, the very fast sedan stallion who stands at Green.
Around the country to see how the classics turned out in other states. Our first stop is Ascot Racecourse in Perth on November 29 for the running of the $100,000 Group 1 WATC West Australian Oaks. The Melbourne Cup team of trainer Colin Hayes and Michael Clark were the punters-elect with a last start winner, Send Me an Angel.
Now, on the outside, Village Queen making ground from Tranquil Waters, run swiftly, and a 12 to more, but 400 to go. Balactane the inside, just led escorted. On the outside is Send Me an Angel over Light Year Lady Kushinda. Miss Buffett was out deep from Sound of Drums into the straight, escorted, and Send Me an Angel the leader. Over Miss Buffett on the outside, the rider in trouble, followed by Kushinda and Light Year Lady, who can't win. It's Send Me an Angel in front at the 100 from Kushinda, Miss Buffett and escorted. Send Me an Angel in front, hard ridden. Kushinda is closing. Send Me an Angel in front, but and one. Send Me an Angel won a neck over Kushinda.
Back on more, the West Australian Turf Club revamped their summer carnival so as to fit a $1 million weight for age race in with the festivities surrounding the defence of the America's Cup. Consequently, the first race of importance in Perth was the Rothwells, a weight for age event over 1,800 metres. This year, the Rothwells represented a head-on clash between two outstanding Sir Tristram colts. One, Military Plume, you saw in the Sandown Guineas. The other is Fair Sir, owned by Laurie Connell, the man whose Rothwell's Merchant Bank sponsors this great contest.
Zemindar still out by 2 1/4. Military Plume bolting. 2 away, running third. St Edwin's Pride, Rare Flyer. Followed by Fair Sir off the rails now from Track Jester, Rocket Racer. Buckshot Bandit, Prince Witten, Gypsy, Frolic, Well Back, Medical Missionary. Hallpack's Image in the last two. Lonely Knights and Northern Find. They've got 500 to go. And Zemindar a length to the quarter. Military Plume is closing rapidly. A length to the half to Fair Sir going to third. He was followed by St Edwin's Pride. 3 to Rare Flyer. Track Jester, Rocket Racer, Buckshot Bandit into the straight. Zemindar led. Military Plume and Fair Sir, followed by St Edwin's Pride. Fair Sir has raced to the front of the 200 over Military Plume. 3 away to St Edwin's Pride, followed then by Zemindar and Gypsy Frolic. Here's a go. Fair Sir and Military Plume. Fair Sir, Military Plume has got him. Military Plume has come back, taken the lead, and has won ahead over Fair Sir.
After the Rothwells, trainer Buster O'Malley, the Avondale Cup was regarded as a lead-up race for the 3,200-metre Cups, but no more. Carrying a Group 1 status and sponsorship to the tune of 200,000 New Zealand dollars, the Lion Red Avondale Cup has emerged as New Zealand's major middle distance handicap.
They're followed on the inside, Our So Fair. There goes a bit like, and now he's swamping them round on the outside, 600 metres out in the Cup. Joel is next and back last. Now is still Eastern Joy, and alongside of these two, Bounty Hawk got squeezed well back also with Barusha. Into the straight, 400 metres to go, and Salvig's taken over and shot away with Cooksley. It's got a 3-length break. Royal Heights is making a bid. Fort Chevelle, Cosmetique behind these, but Salvig's got them in trouble now. 300 metres to go. Away by 5 lengths on Royal Heights. Fort Chevelle, Beaver Boy putting in a late run, but Salvig stolen the race, kicks right away at 100 metres out. In second place, Royal Heights trying valiantly with Beaver Boy and 12 gauge. Salvig wins it easily. Second at the line, 12 gauge.
A fitting winner this time around was gallant mare Salvig, who picked up her third Group 1 to add to earlier triumphs in the New Zealand Oaks at 3 and the Double Brown 1600 at 4. The Miss Jubilee.
Tidal Light went from strength to strength after the 1,000 Guineas, which after all was her first start in group company. She then came out and convincingly won the Group 3 Wrights and Waikato Guineas. She donkey-licked last season's top filly Royal Heights in the Dulcie Stakes, and she then lauded it over the colts in the Auckland Breeders' Avondale Guineas. This moderate-looking filly had won 7 of her 10 starts when she faced up for a rematch with Cure in the $250,000 Group 1 New Zealand Derby, the country's second richest race at Ellerslie on December 26th.
Race down 800 metres to go in the Derby, and the 2 leaders Grand Nudge on the outside of Cardinal. A length and a half Cure on the inside of the Bishop. Handy, there's Mickey's Town working forward. Tidal Light's about fourth on the inside rail, then followed by Sir Zeus Rationale Investor, then followed Brown Edition coming wide. In Pursuit got pushed back on the inside as they come to the turn, then followed by 1 Guinea Precocious Lad and Pace Setter, and drifting out Delphi Dazzle. On the turn now, 450 to go. Grand Nudge and Cardinal, the 2 leaders Brown Edition, swept round to tackle the 2 of them. Then the Bishop is trying to get out. Tidal Light's coming one off the rail, and she's putting a good run in, but it's Brown Edition shot to the lead. 200 metres to go. Here's Tidal Light, a big run after her. She's going to grab him. Then the Bishop Cure's coming into it, the other filly. And on the inside, Tidal Light and Cure, the 2 fillies, and the Derby, and the Bishop coming after the 2 of them. Tidal Light, Cure going after with huge strides, but little Tidal Light has won the Derby.
The connections of Cure.
It's Australia's first Group 1 juvenile event of the racing season. Now keep your eye on the God's Walk filly, Neo Classic. She's not hard to spot. She's the one in Robert Sangster's colours, and a clear last shortly after leaving the barrier.
And racing, Lone Value wide began well. Neo Classic missed it by about 2. Tell Me Tomorrow jumped away fast over Golden Unicorn and Magic Partner. Shady Legs but 8 from the leader as they went to the 850, where Golden Unicorn strode to the front by a length. Lone Value, Tell Me Tomorrow from Magic Partner. Joy the Jungle caught wide over Shady Lagoon. A length farther back on the field then came Corso Plus with Prince Shamrock. Neo Classic is buried away on the inside rail, and My Judy making ground 3 wide. 650 from home. Golden Unicorn by 1, Tell Me Tomorrow. On the outside, Joy of the Jungle going to 3rd from Magic Partner. Then Shady Lagoon, Lone Value has gone from Neo Classic, Prince Shamrock with My Judy and Corso Plus last into the straight, 300 out. Golden Unicorn, the leader, got away a length and a half from Tell Me Tomorrow. Joy of the Jungle, followed by Shady Lagoon, Neo Classic and My Judy, but Golden Unicorn raced 3 in front at the 100 from Tell Me Tomorrow, Joy of the Jungle, followed by Neo Classic and My Judy, but it's all over. Golden Unicorn's got the Caracara sold up. A great fight for
Golden Unicorn is by Jevington, a Todman stallion who raced successfully for Melbourne trainer Angus Armanasco in the early 70s. Jevington has been...
and the Australasian. This left Military Plume at almost unbackable odds for the $150,000 Group 1 Western Australian Derby at Ascot on December 27.
Buffett, Cushinda, Lonely Nights and Gendray, but Military Plume went to the front. 450 they go by a head over St Edwin's Pride. Congressman going wide from Miss Muffet, Prince Whitten, then Lonely Nights with Sir Walkup, Gendray and Cushinda. Military Plume leads for home of the Derby. A length and a half, St Edwin's Pride, Congressman. Gendray is finishing well, so is Lonely Night. Clark has pulled the whip on Military Plume as Gendray took the lead. Gendray got a neck in front from Military Plume, followed by Congressman and Lonely Night, but it's Gendray in front from Congressman, Military Plume and Gendray. Gendray's won the Derby 3/4.
Although being given the Railway Stakes in Perth has developed enormously over the past few years, and now with the sponsorship of Swan Premium and a boost in stakes to $250,000, it ranks 3rd only to the Australasian and the Doncaster Handicap as the richest mile event on the calendar. The presence of Chanticleer, King Phoenix and So Vague from the eastern states meant that local stars Fair Sir, Jungle Dawn and Fimiston wouldn't have everything their own way. At least that was the theory.
Roman Artist, the leader, doing it easily by a length. Soft as Snow, Aussie pack from Chanticleer. On the outside, Fair Sir's recovering them very quickly, and so is Jungle Dawn. Jungle Dawn has raced up as they go to the 650. To go to the front now over Roman Artist, followed by Chanticleer. Then came Oakbank on the outside, tucked in behind them the inside rail. Aussie pack from Western Pago, followed by Fair Sir, then Soft as Snow, Fimiston midfield, followed by the Vagrant making ground around the outside. So Vague over Eye of the Sky. King Phoenix, Bravo Meadow, Ivory Shell and Travel Light. The filly Jungle Dawn led into the straight in the railway by 2 Western Pago, Chanticleer, followed by Fair Sir. Then came the Vagrant and Roman Artist, but 200 to go. Jungle Dawn a length and a half over Western Pago. Fair Sir down the outside, but Jungle Dawn is going great guns. She's 2 in front, Western Pago and Fair Sir, and the 3-year-old filly Jungle Dawn a length and a quarter, Western Pago.
That was the 9th win by Jungle Dawn. Jungle Dawn is a younger sister to the outstanding sprinting mare Jungle Mist. Both grey girls are daughters of the prolific stallion Jungle Boy and the fine brood mare Shentello.
Drama and the Perth Cup have often been close companions in the past, and the 101st running of the race in 1987 was no exception.
On the outside, Lonely Nights, followed by Royal on the outside. Rocket Racer's taken off now. Royal Sharif the inside from Gypsy Frolic. Puckle Harbour's tacking on behind Rocket Racer. They were followed by Pliancy Alpha Winner on the outside. Then Hall Paximage followed by Northern Fine. Ambitious Task, Nippy's Dream, Gypsy Frolic is gone from Patmos, King Matthias, and well back on the corner now. Red Martel and Star Joe. Rocket Racer at the 350 by 2 over Puckle Harbour. 3 away to Royal Sharif, around the Alpha Win, followed by Pliancy, then came on the outside Hallback's Image, but 200 to go and Rocket Racer. He's 5 in front from Puckle Harbour, followed by Royal Sharif, Hallback's Image and Alpha Win, but it's a one-horse affair. Rocket Racer's 8 in front, he's 10 in front, he's going to win from Puckle Harbour and Royal Sharif.
Rocket Racer may have been memorable for the ease of his win, or for the fact that he gave veteran jockey John Miller back-to-back wins in the West's biggest two-miler. But the most dramatic aspect of the race was the near collapse of the Laurie Connell-owned 4-year-old immediately after the race.
Veterinary opinion put Rocket Racer's distress state down to severe heat exhaustion, and it was several hours before he was declared out of danger. As it was, we didn't see this exciting young stayer for the remainder of the season. Ian, you've had more New Year's Day at Ellerslie in Auckland and time for the first of the big New Zealand Sprint treble. The Group 1 Railway Handicap sponsored by Clearwood Stud Limited.
They're spread over 12 lengths now, 700 metres to go. The leader is Diamond Lover, about a half length now in second place. High Regards, 2 back on the inside, Silver Tip. They're followed round by Guineas on the outside of it. Princess Dram and that Droop about 2 back there behind it. Orange Jade is there as well. They're followed Courier Bay as they come into the straight from Pinson as they sprint for home, but Diamond Lover slips away. 3 lengths now, High Regards chasing. 4 lengths back to the others, Guineas and Princess Dram. Diamond Lover in front, 250 to go. High Regards trying desperately now, only a length away, coming out of 2. Orange Jade is next, then Courier Bay late. Diamond Lover kicked along though, is leading from a High Regards. Courier Bay storming home late. Diamond Lover's in front though, she's too good. She's going to win the Clearwood Railway. Won it from Courier Bay. High Regards third, then followed home Orange Jade.
An absolutely sensational win by an outstanding sprinting mare. Diamond Lover is clearly the best performer sired by the ill-fated sprinter Sticks and Stones. In what will surely...
I believe that you're going to apply for citizenship of New Zealand.
Well, Bill, it's a great place for a racing holiday, and the Auckland Cup on New Year's Day is really the people's race. At $250,000, it's the richest race in New Zealand, and Ascot Racecourse comes alive for it. The biggest day on the New Zealand racing calendar. For those with a New Year hangover, what a better way to spend the 1st of January than at the DB Auckland Cup.
Chief going towards the turn, being niggled at a little, but he's got 20 lengths to spare. In second place, Lack of Reason, Brook Bond, then Daria's Fun, then followed Solveig, Bounty Hawk, 3 back to 12 gauge, then followed Royal Heights, then the Filbert being well niggled at as they come round the turn. He's got a big break, he can almost lie down and have a rest. He's in front, Kotari Chief, 15 to 20 lengths, Daria's Fun, then followed by in third place, Lack of Reason, 12 gauge, Royal Heights. Kotari Chief starting to stagger, he's got 12, 15 lengths clear though. Daria's Fun then followed 12 gauge as he goes towards the post. Kotari Chief, he's got 15, 20. They're never going to get him. What a ride. Kotari Chief has got it well. 1 second place, 12 gauge out wide. Royal Heights, the fight is only for the minors. Kotari Chief wins it. He bolted in 12 gauge.
Kotari Chief is a stayer in more ways than one. His most important success coming well into his 8th year. But there was no doubting his superiority on the day. Robert Cadigan's daring ride left Daylight to claim second as they put the 3,200 metres behind them in a slick 3:16.63. New stakes winner, Karpstad. The 3 place getters lined up again over the same distance at Trentham 16 days later for the Group 1 Sprint, formerly known as the Telegraph Handicap. These days, it's called the Wrightson.
Right up with them now is Courier Bay, followed in behind them then by High Regards and Random Chance, Pinson, Johnny Alone. And at the back of the field is Night Invader. Up to the turn, about 400 left to go, and it's Courier Bay put his head in front of Diamond Lover. Kosher is next, followed further back in the field then by Self-Help. Courier Bay's coasting at the moment. Diamond Lover's under a bit of pressure, don't like it. And at the moment it's Courier Bay from Kosher. They're followed out wide by High Regard, Princess Dam. Diamond Lover can't be in it. And at the moment it's Courier Bay. Kosher's coming hard down the outside, and Night Invader's running into the minor money. But Courier Bay's day to day. David Walsh kicks it clear, wins it from Kosher. Third home, Night Invader.
After Military Plume was disappointing in the run home, but despite that, punters were prepared to give him another chance in the $500,000 Group 1 Channel 9 Australian Derby over the same course and distance on January 17.
Closing from the back now, taking off Gendre around the outside from Bustler, Congressman and then Military Plume. A length and a half, the Lonely Knight, Sir Walk Up and last Maribyrnong Boy, but he's only about 8 or 10 from the leader. Racing to the last 800 now, and Miss Buffett has gone to the front. Led ahead Sandown's Pride, Gendre to third on the outside from Escorted and Bustler. One to Military Plume right over the leaders, followed by Congressman, Lonely Knights, Maribyrnong Boy and Sir Walk Up last at the 600, and Sandown's Pride has punched to the lead. A length Miss Buffett, Gendre, a length and a quarter, Military Plume from Bustler, followed by Congressman, Lonely Knights, and then Maribyrnong Boy, Sir Walk Up and Escorted has gone at the 400, and Gendre's dashed to the front. Gendre into the straight by 2 lengths, Sandown's Pride, around the Military Plume, followed by Miss Buffett and Congressman. Gendre at the 250, led by 2 over Military Plume, Miss Buffett, Sandown's Pride and Maribyrnong Boy, 100 out, it's still Gendre. Military Plume is closing now, but Pommy Pike is riding for dear life, and Gendre's got the Derby one. Gendre's holding Military Plume, 1 length and a quarter, 3 away third.
Gendre is the 4th individual classic winner sired by Twig Moss, and it was largely Gendre's 2 derbies that enabled the stallion to become champion Australian-based stallion for the 2nd successive season. After the win, part owner and trainer Ted Martinovich was flooded with offers for Gendre, but it took almost 2 months for Mike Willis's Transmedia Park stud to finally secure a 50% interest in the colt for an undisclosed amount.
David Hayes, who represented the Colin Hayes stable in Perth, said after the Australian Derby that Military Plume had been fairly and squarely outstayed by Gendre. That was to have been the end of Military Plume's Perth campaign, but when the colt did so well in the stable the following week, Hayes bravely backed him up for a return clash with favourite Fair Sir in the Swan Premier Australasian, a $1 million weight for age race over 1,600 metres at Ascot, just 9 days after the Derby.
And the racing, Sandown's Pride broke away first over Rising Prince, and Jungle Dawn was away well. Fair Sir ridden along early to get up into a good spot from Roman Artisan. Lockley Tradition coming across quickly. He was followed by Western Pago from Fimiston, Dance Acton, King Phoenix, Dire Quest, Military Plume, Imperial Regina, and Winter last as they go to the 1200. Miles to Fimiston from Military Plume, Imperial Regina, Winter and last at the 900, Dire Quest. Rising Prince the leader by a length, Jungle Dawn a length and a quarter to Lockley Tradition, travelling well on the outside of Sandown's Pride, followed by Fair Sir and Court Wide Roman Artist, a length and a half to Western Pago the fence. He was being followed then by Dance Act, King Phoenix about to start making ground on the 3 wide from Fimiston, Military Plume, and well back on the 4th at the 500, Imperial Regina with Winter and Dire Quest. They've got 500 to go. Rising Prince is joined by Jungle Dawn, a length and a half, Lockley's Tradition, followed by Sandown's Pride, Fair Sir, King Phoenix going wide from Western Pago, Fimiston and Military Plume, but the filly Jungle Dawn shot to the front into the straight, a length and a half, Rising Prince from Lockley Tradition, followed by Fair Sir, Fimiston, King Phoenix can't find any more. Jungle Dawn in front from Lockley Tradition, Rising Prince, Fimiston, and here comes Fair Sir. Fair Sir's gone to Jungle Dawn. Here comes Military Plume, but Fair Sir's won it. Fair Sir won it at Military Plume.
The Australasian was Fair Sir's 5th win from only 11 starts and took his earnings to $854,415. Laurie Connell gave 180,000 New Zealand dollars for the colt at Trentham in 1985. The winning jockey was Mark Sestich.
And his best